This is my Eula Shatter team.
Just smile and nod along.
You may be thinking, wait, Shatter? That's like the worst elemental reaction in the whole game. But let me tell you about this team right here. I got Eula, I got Raiden, I got Kokomi, and I got Rosaria. But before we get into it, I want to proudly announce our first sponsorship on the channel. Hey, you Genshin Impact gamer. You like my wallpaper? Oh, you're not a cryo simp like me? Oh, you don't want Eula or Shinha? Well, that's fine because let me tell you about this browser called Opera GX. Let me show you how you can put your own picture or whatever you want it to be. You go up here at the top right, you can choose between light and dark mode. After you choose light or dark mode, you can also customize the color of your browser, whether it's one of the ones that they have here, Pay to Win, White Wolf, or you can configure your own colors and customize it the way you want it on your browser. And after that, you can add your own wallpaper, whatever picture you want. Oh, you want your own wallpaper? Sure, go ahead, search whatever you want. Top rated, popular, animated. Doesn't matter. You can even search up Genshin Impact if you want, because I know you love Genshin Impact so much. Oh, look, there's a Zhao wallpaper. Go ahead and add it. Oh, what? You're afraid that you might lose frames on your Genshin Impact? No, not with this browser. Let me tell you something right here. GX Control. GX Control allows you to enhance your performance on your PC while you're gaming with your browser open, and it lets you get rid of lag while you're playing games and listening to music. This is perfect in case you want to keep like a lot of tabs open. You can go ahead and do that without losing your performance. This panel lets you guys limit the amount of CPU and RAM that your browser can use. There's also a network limiter that limits the amount of network bandwidth used by Opera GX in order to gain performance in your games and your streams. So whenever it's time for me to stream, I'll go ahead and turn it on, and that'll help me get a less laggy stream. Just with that feature alone, I'm done using Google Chrome, because y'all know how much Google Chrome is a pain in the butt whenever you're trying to run games at the same time. Oh, you like listening to music while you're playing your little Genshin Impact game? That's fine, because Opera GX also has a player installed into the browser. You can log on to Apple Music, SoundCloud, Spotify, wherever you find your music. Once you log on to your favorite music player, and whenever you start streaming video or audio in your browser tabs, the player automatically pauses and then automatically resumes once the tab is finished. Big, huge thanks to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. I think I'm pretty much done with Google Chrome. This is probably my go-to browser because it's just everything's so convenient, and I love the customization you have over this browser. So yeah, if you want to get started today, go ahead and go to www.opera.com/GX. and go ahead and get started and download it to your computer today. Link will be in the description. And once again, thank you so much, Opera GX, for the sponsorship. And let's get back into the video. So this whole idea started when I was using Kokomi and Rosaria on the same team. They have great synergy together that allows you to freeze enemies, but almost nobody uses them in a freeze team because Morgana exists. So then I thought to myself, well, what about Shatter? Since C6 Rosaria lowers enemies' resistance by 20%, that's already a plus to start with. And then Kokomi has access to Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer and a new artifact Clam set that can make her into an off-field sub-DPS and a healer for this team. And that's when I decided to try to give Shatter a chance. If you don't know what Shatter does, Shatter is probably the only elemental reaction that needs 3 steps. First, you need to apply Cryo, then Hydro, or vice versa, and then you gotta do a heavy attack with either a Geo attack or a Claymore. The damage of Shatter is only based on the elemental mastery of the character, the level, and the physical resistance of the enemy. But one of the main things that I just said and what we're going to focus on is the physical resistance of the enemy. So yes, Superconduct or Eula's consumption of Grimheart stacks will increase our damage of physical resistance. But is it enough to make a good team? Here in my team, we got Eula as the main DPS. We got Raiden Shogun to cause Superconduct, and it's a very good combo with Eula. The 2 MVP supports that just make this team work is Rosaria and Kokomi at the same time. So Rosaria's elemental burst and Kokomi's elemental skill sync up perfectly to keep causing constant freeze reactions onto the enemies. And like I mentioned before, you can put Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer, which will increase our damage to Eula. And then if we put the new Clam artifact set on Kokomi, that will give us consistent 10k, 11k ticks from her bubble. And then if we add Shatter into the mix, each time we shatter the enemies, we're going to be adding that damage and it's going to pile on. And of course, we also get the benefit of freeze from trapping enemies in their place, which means we're going to hit them with Eula. Because if you don't know right now in the current Spiral Abyss or just the new mob that they introduced into the game, these freaking dogs go everywhere and they teleport, and it's just annoying, especially if you're trying to attack with Eula, who needs to be close up and personal. So what Shatter/Freeze allows us to do is keep them in their place and make sure we hit them. Also, the double cryo resistance from this team allows us to get 15% extra crit rate for enemies that are frozen or affected by cryo. And the main thing is frozen. So basically every time we're shattering, we're gonna get that 15% extra crit rate from the double cryo resonance. So if you maximize the potential of Rosaria's crit rate and his double cryo resonance, you can get an extra 30% crit rate from this team consistently. The only thing that sucks about this is that you cannot shatter hurt boss enemies. Since you can't freeze boss enemies, you cannot cause shatter, so it's kind of a bust. And if that's the case, then just replace Kokomi with like another cryo battery like Diona or potentially even Chi-Chi. Now here's my rotation for the team. We're going to start off with Raiden's elemental skill, then we're going to switch into Rosaria, do her elemental skill, and quickly do her elemental burst because those particles will get absorbed during the duration of the animation of the elemental burst. Then we quickly switch into Kokomi, use her elemental skill, and that will sync up with Rosaria's elemental burst, which will cause freeze for the enemies. And it will also start the bubble damage from the clam artifact set that Kokomi has equipped. Then we switch into Eula. Eula will get the Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer buff onto her, and as soon as we switch to Eula, we do her elemental skill, which will give us 1 stack of Grimheart, then use her elemental burst, that will give us 2 stacks of Grimhearts. After her elemental burst, we do her hold elemental skill so we can lower the physical resistance even more of the enemies, which will increase our shatter damage, and it will also increase our bubble damage from the clam artifact set. And then we just swing away, let the shatter damage pile on, and just do Eula things. And in this whole process, we buffed up Eula with Thrilling Tales, we buffed up Eula with 30% crit rate, and we're trapping the enemies with Frozen and Shatter, and they just cannot get away, and they just get absolutely destroyed by this rotation. After the rotation is done, you can switch to Raiden to battery up everybody, and then rinse and repeat the process once again, and then just have fun with this Shatter team. Now the question is, are there any substitutions? Unfortunately, I think Raiden is needed in the Electro slot for this team in order to charge Eula back up after the rotation, because if you do not have Raiden, you'll have like an awkward gap where you're trying to charge up Eula while your other supports already have their burst up. Either that, or you give your Eula some kind of high energy recharge build to like, I guess, make up for it. Now, what happens if you do not have Kokomi? Well, Barbara is actually kind of a good substitute. She provides a good placeholder for the clam artifact set, and she can hold Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer. The only thing she lacks is the AoE Hydra application that Kokomi has, and she will give you less bubble damage from the clam set unless you're using like Barbara's burst to kind of make up for it, but she can do it. Shincho plus Kaya can also be a good option since Shincho is a great Hydra applicator, but the only thing is that he's a single target and you are losing that healing for your whole team, and there's no Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer to buff up your Eula. And with Kaya, his burst duration is too short, which can cause problems into your rotations. I also did try Mona plus Diona, and I don't think it was that good. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're both great characters on their own, but the thing is, you're probably better off putting them on a better team like Morgana. If you have any other questions, you can always ask me while I'm live on twitch.tv/HydraSam. And before I show you the Spiral Abuse showcase, I do want to say that if you enjoyed the video and want to support the content, please give the video a like and a sub in order to boost up the video. It really helps out the channel, and it only takes a second. I love you all, and remember, waifu over meta. And here's the 412 showcase.
There is no shiver. Just feel it. Shudder. Vengeance will be mine. Eye for an eye. Crush. Lights out. Illusion shattered. Now you shall perish. Shine down. You can't run. Punishment. Hold the line. Freeze to the core.